Good afternoon. Welcome to EDA Focus on the Marketplace. I'm Anthony Weeks, your host, and we are going to have a wonderful discussion on some exciting news that we have experienced just yesterday. And we have some good folks with us who are going to share with us the new development, new news here at the EDA. And of course, I'd like to say once again, happy holidays. The holiday season is upon us, and a lot of folks are getting ready for the holidays. So I hope folks have wonderful plans for the holidays with families and friends coming in to visit. And we do have one of those friends with us this afternoon, and he's no stranger to the EDA Focus in the Marketplace. It's Andrew Klutz. And Andrew, I want to welcome you back to the program.
It's great to be back. Good
to see you. So what you been up to?
Well, we've been very, very busy. We've been working and developing, enhancing our marketing programs over the last few months. Very busy working directly with companies that we've been identifying, getting to know, and learning about their specific project requirements when it comes to looking at the Caribbean Basin. And of course, we are promoting the U.S. Virgin Islands as the ideal location in the Caribbean Basin for their investment activities. That takes a lot of work in terms of being able to provide the right types of information and sell the assets. We talked about the assets last time of the territory to compete against other locations, because quite frankly there are many other locations looking for the same types of investment that we're looking for.
Not too far from us, right? On both sides of the channel, right?
Precisely.
There you go. There you go.
We talked a little bit about last time. We didn't really get into a whole lot of it, but we talked about the targeted marketing strategy of the EDA. Talk to us, kind of sort of recap. Let's circle back and tell us a little bit about that. And in light of the new, if you will, beneficiary that's now part of the Virgin Islands community, how did that play into the whole marketing effort for attracting this new applicant, or new beneficiary, I should say?
Sure. Targeted marketing is really about reaching out, identifying, and talking directly with companies that fit the profile that we can support and grow here in the territory. There's no point going after an automotive manufacturing plant, because it's not going to fit here.
It's not in the cards.
What we need to look for are companies that can thrive here and grow here. And there are particular sectors that we've identified and worked on developing, looking at what's existing within the territory in terms of the assets, which we talked about last time, be it broadband, financial services experience, how do the benefits programs come into play, what types of companies can thrive most from that. Also personal situations. Coming down and moving from perhaps a landlocked location and moving down to the territory is quite a change. And that requires looking at certain types of individuals and leaders within companies that would want to relocate their business. But we have looked at sectors such as financial services, back office processing, contact centers, hotels, IT, and of course high value manufacturing, which are small manufacturing facilities that can use highly automated production processes, but create products that have a much higher value to offset some of the cost constraints that we have in the territory. So again, it's understanding what types of constraints and opportunities we have in the territory and matching the industry sectors and the types of companies and individuals to build that relationship and secure the investment to create jobs here.
And what comes to mind outside of our normal tourism thinking, hotels, there's so much, and we did talk about this, the fact that we need to really target technology-based companies. You said information technology, and then of course financial service companies as well. Now it is the perfect scenario when you have a company who is not only financial in nature, but also the ability to do business is very, very technologically driven. And Jennifer, I want to use this opportunity to pull you in to share the news of this new beneficiary that is now part of the Virgin Islands, particularly Island St. Croix, and particularly, more particularly the town of Frederiksted. Why don't you share with the audience who this new beneficiary is?
Well, again, part of what was just said by Andrew, as it relates to this targeted marketing strategy of EDA is to do zero in on those companies that fit the profile for what can work in the Virgin Islands. And this company, Ocwen Mortgage Servicing Inc. and its sister company, Altisource Asset Management Corporation, opened their headquarters in Frederiksted yesterday, December 11th. And we are so excited about this extremely very important company that falls now within the beneficiary profile of the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority, and specifically the EDC program. We're excited about it because we think it's a great opportunity for the Virgin Islands, and as you said earlier, particularly St. Croix, and more specifically to the town of Frederiksted. This is a part of the efforts at the EDC program to continue to focus on job creation, job retention, job expansion opportunities. And so we're looking at the welcome news of Ocwen Mortgage and Altisource Asset Management coming into the Virgin Islands and coming to St. Croix in particular, opening a headquarters here, actually relocating their business to the territory. And from that platform, what the opportunities we're going to get from having such a caliber of a company, such high-level CEOs in our territory who are committed to helping us to target other industry sectors and bring them into the application process. I think for us, Ocwen Mortgage Servicing Company and Altisource is a part of what we've mentioned in the past about the EDC program advancing itself with a strategy that generates jobs and create a platform. I think we said earlier in one of our previous program that it is not expected to have a manufacturing company relocate to the territory to bring 2,500 jobs at a drop of a hat one time. That reality is no longer doable. What we're hoping to do is create this investment opportunity, this atmosphere for developers to come and invest in an environment where 50 jobs, 60 jobs, 10 jobs, as we say in the islands, one full basket. We are welcoming companies, whether they come to bring 5 new jobs, hopefully 100 jobs, or 200 jobs. And Altisource and Ocwen, as part of our new EDC beneficiary program, has tremendous desire to grow and expand. There are folks who are asking, oh my goodness, how did you all get such a company to the Virgin Islands? And we say it's because we have a good product. It's a good place to work. And our strategy going forward, especially as it relates to making sure that our application process is one that is welcoming, that's ease. And I think, you know, I'd like to ask Ms. Benjamin, who's the Director of Application, to talk about what she did in maneuvering the way to get this application through the process, and did we accomplish what I think this client was expecting of us. So Maggie, talk a little bit about what we did with Ocwen and Altisource in the application process.
Well, Ocwen and Altisource would, let's say that's our poster child as of today, in terms of wanting to improve our processes to be more efficient and effective. And as I've said before in the previous program, is that communication, effective communication makes that work. And so our initial discussions with not only the legal counsel that represent the company, but with the owners of the company, so they can understand specifically that we are welcoming and that we want to ensure that they understand the process so that we can facilitate what needs to be done. And so that upfront communication helped us so much better than the amount of challenges going back and forth in written communication, because we were able to delineate and explain out what we were looking for, in what format we were looking for. We got a presentation from them as to what the industry standards are, what their attempts were in terms of relocating here to the territory, their needs. as it relates. And we talk about the different services that are also available through other government agencies to help them facilitate the process. But what is key is that this company, like most other companies, did their due diligence, but unlike most other companies who don't come to us until we haven't filed an application, is after they begun their due diligence, they contact our office. So not only did they speak with me and Andrew, but they spoke also with our application analysts up front. And so as we went through the process, each of us had an opportunity to dialogue with them and to find out what the challenges we may have foreseen, to share with them and of course they had their external and internal legal counsel, but we felt that this made the process go smoother, that as we got the application, and we always talk about we can facilitate it, but it needs to be complete, that allowed us to have a complete application once it hit the door, that we could then effectively reduce the level of questions or concern that may be raised in a public hearing from us as a staff member, and to also provide our board members with a comprehensive report regarding this company in advance of that session, so that the decision-making process can then be done more efficiently without having to wait for additional information thereafter.
No, the application process, particularly as it relates to Ocwen and Altisource. And of course, we're talking a new, if you will, precedent in terms of the caliber of companies we're talking about. As you initiate the application process is initiated, at what point do you have like a 10-point application process? And if you can talk a little bit about that, and at what point do you then say to yourself, we got something? Because I know that anyone can come in and apply, but there are no guarantees that you're going to be approved. So we're in the application process where you have this 10-point step, and when do you say, I think we got something here?
Well, generally, from my experience, that we determine whether you may have a feel good, but a feel good is not always dictating whether an applicant is the gotcha kind of success. So we tend to, in a case whether it's a new startup company, we're going based on projections. In the case where there's an existing company, we have their history in which to look forward to in terms of identifying if this is what they've done in the past, that we know that it will be transitioned here into the territory and it will make good for us. And so because these two companies are subsidiaries of publicly traded company, we know that they came under regulatory umbrella, and that they're accustomed in terms of compliance, and they understand the importance of doing business. They work not only in commercial but in a residential area. And Mr. Irby brought to us a new concept in servicing commercial and residential loan that just made sense. And so that raised our antenna and wanted us to vet that a little further and to see that it would be more effective for application here in the territory.
Right.
You could also tell from the types of due diligence that the company was doing. They were very interested in details about the quality of the workforce, statistics upon high school graduates, college graduates, postgraduates, details about the next generation network. These were all going to be critical factors to their business and their success in the territory. When you spend time with a company that gets into that level of detail, you know they're extremely serious about their business and they want to make it a success. So that's another indicator.
Right.
You know, you want to say something?
Well, I was going to say, you know, adding to what Andrew and Maggie just said, when did we feel it in the scale of 1 to 10? We felt it because the level of respect and honoring of the process by the CEO of this company was absolutely transparent. He was open. He asked a lot of questions. He expressed concerns.
That's not the norm? Is it unusual?
Well,
is it unusual?
Well, it should be the norm. The point is, they too were doing their due diligence on the territory, and so they respected our process. So there was a mutual honoring and respect of the process. And so I think that was one of the trigger points where I think we started to feel like this was a serious company. They were about moving their corporation to the Virgin Islands because it was a good place to do business. Certainly the tax incentive program under EDC is a calling card. The big incentive, that's why it's called an incentive program. But I sense that the CEO of this company, Mr. William Irby, had done a lot of work. And he had made a commitment, and he was serious about this, and that he wasn't going to wait for a year after he had gotten approval to activate his business. You know, we get a lot of applications, that is true, within the EDC program. And we provide, and we're smiling at this because we can tell you about the list of applicants who have been approved and have not activated.
Really?
And they've not activated.
You don't hear about. You don't hear.
Oh, we know that, but that's another program. We'll come back and talk about that and understanding why. But from this perspective, there was this mutual respect for the process. He understood what we had to do, and we understood what he had to do. And where there were areas that needed for us to work through so that the synergy was occurring, there was a willingness to do so. And yes, there were some frustrating times in the process, particularly for the fact that there was a timeliness on this project, a sense of urgency, because in the world of high financing and trading and public companies,
and reporting,
there is a time that they must report out to the SEC, and we had to adjust to that. And I think the beauty of this company was the recognition was clear because the communication started early. I mean, they did their homework and they did their due diligence. And every member of the team was afforded the opportunity to ask a question of the company, because we met as a group the first time. They had, been talking to the different government agencies that authorizes, licensing and all of that stuff. But the EDC program was the catalyst for them being here. And for us, it was understanding this publicly traded corporation that we were now getting and what we had to do about it. So I think we walk away from this with a great deal of lesson. And to close off the conversation about Ocwen and Altisource, we are anticipating 60 new jobs over the next year and a half, 2 years. It is a welcome, refreshing new company to the territory and to the town of Frederiksted. And when we start to build out the next area for the 50 new call centers, 50 position for a call center that is part of the new program, part of the Ocwen Altisource group, which we're about to start the construction of their new offices, and not new offices, but they're going to be in a location that requires some build out because it's high-tech stuff and all of that. And we're hoping, to fast track that on their behalf. What I'd like to say is that when Maggie mentioned that it's a communication, that's what the marketing thing is about for us. It's our ability to communicate well with the communities that we're the industry sectors that we're targeting. And out of this, again, one of the requirements, and I'd like to ask Maggie to talk about this, the requirement of our EDC partners joining in our efforts to sell and market our EDC program, and we've created a new exciting thing.
The ambassadorship program.
Yeah.
Maggie,
well, over the years, we've had many of our companies that have committed to work with the Economic Development Commission to promote our program. And with the brainstorming of our ACO, we now have entered into our ambassadors program. And that is the venue that we will be utilizing their services in that regards, which would be one of our marketing tools. We believe that every Virgin Island resident is an ambassador of the program, but more so if we are looking to identify those industries, similar industries, and we have beneficiaries that are already in that partner, that they can assist us in our marketing efforts. And so as we formulate and communicate our ambassador program to them, we're hoping that that would spur new interest in the territory. Fantastic. In that industry.
You want to talk about how this is exciting part of it?
It's exciting because what it really does is we've talked about targeted marketing efforts. This enhances our targeted marketing because the folks that have existing companies here today, we would like to have similar companies here, particularly the successful ones.
They're really
so as you can imagine, we're working with these folks on case studies, introductions to other peers in the business, similar companies, suppliers, downstream buyers, that type of thing, helping to speak on our behalf at industry events, opening up the door with new companies. Again, it's very, very targeted, but these are folks who can expand the EDA sales team, if you will, and act as an ambassador for the U.S. Virgin Islands.
And as they move forward with this initiative, it puts a little more pressure on me to make sure that the processes are efficient and effective, so that we can just, as those companies roll in the door, that we can just roll them right through the application process. And so when I said that Ocwen and Altosource was one of our poster child, it is our effort to try to as much to address our applications in one sitting. And in the case with Ocwen and Altosource, we were able to achieve that. A complete application with wealth of information that helped us to make an informed decision right then and there. And so we're moving to ensure that we can do that for all of our applicants as the information received allow us to.
Fantastic.
Well, you know, talk about running.
Yeah.
We're running. I mean, we know the competition is out there, and they're doing as much as they can. And simultaneously, as we market and target the industry sectors to fit the territory, on the application side, what Ms. Benjamin just said, she's running because we have to keep up and run faster than our competitors.
Well, the Ocwen Altosource group, they're the forerunners of what I envision and anticipate in terms of, you know, attracting the kind of companies, you know, that can follow. But it's something I want to get back to you on. When we say trying to find the right fit in terms of potential EDC companies to the program, for example, you know, there's another jurisdiction, I'm not going to call the name, who have a number of high-profile, publicly traded Fortune 500 companies headquartered in this jurisdiction. And we may think of, let's say, GE. GE is a manufacturer, a global manufacturer of a lot of different things. But there's so many divisions and unit to GE, I can envision GE Capital.
Of course.
Sure.
You know, setting up shop here. They're publicly traded, but that's their financial service arm, and they're a big unit, but we can attract a GE Capital to St. Croix or the U.S. Virgin Islands.
And there are many units within GE Capital that we could look at. It could be their back office processing, it could be their asset management, it could be their mortgage processing, similar to Ocwen. There are many units within a large Fortune 500 company like that that could take advantage of. Without
looking at GE and say, oh, GE is coming, they're going to come to manufacture. No, that's not what we're not looking for that.
Not at all.
We're looking at the units that best fits
exactly
the U.S. Virgin
And
Islands
this is, again, is part of the targeted marketing. We have to look very closely at these companies and understand what makes up that company, because it isn't just, you know, refrigerators and train locomotives and big turbines that they make for wind power and things like that. There are many other little units within the company that could play a significant role in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Now, do you, in the targeted marketing strategy, do you go knocking on their door, or do they come to you? I mean, how does that work?
No, we go knocking on their door, but we don't go knocking blindly. We spend a lot of time researching up front, understanding these companies, gathering intelligence in the marketplace to know when a specific unit or company is beginning to look at expansion. There are many telltale signs out there that we can gather through our research. And once we're able to gather a number of those signs, we then have the ammunition to go knock on their door and say, hello, sir. I'm not just introducing the Virgin Islands, but I'm introducing the Virgin Islands because we understand that you have been thinking about X, Y, and Z. And by the way, we have not just a general presentation for you, but we have a proposition that relates to X, Y, and Z. So again, taking the assets, making propositions based on what we're hearing in terms of research and intelligence that we gather to make that fit, so that we can have a relevant, significant conversation with the company. Because as you know, if you go out and cold call 1,000 companies without understanding who those companies are, what they're looking to do, the success rate could be zero.
Right.
And we've also had the opportunity to review 2 applications presently that there were additional opportunities for their parent companies to relocate here in the territory and make this territory their headquarters. And so we've talked about it and suggested and encouraged them as much as we can.
Right.
And we're going to be revisiting that as the opportunity will exist for their parent company to come here, which means more jobs for the territory.
Right.
And I mean, we're out of time, but what I'm hoping that we can talk about next time you're in town, Andrew, is to talk about when a lot of these companies are looking to resize, downsize, restructure, spin off. I'm hoping that we are plugged into the right source to look at some of those players to be able to say, okay, we understand that you're looking to restructure, so you may want to consider the U.S. Virgin Islands a place to, set up this new operation. Right. So, any closing remarks, Jennifer?
I'm going to let Maggie make the closing statement that's burning.
Well, the closing statement is that economic development works for everyone. Not only works for the business and the government of the Virgin Islands, but it works for our residents. And we continue to say that economic development brings qualitative and quantitative changes in the economy, and a quality of life issue for our territory is important to us. So we look forward for further discussions as we move on with the focus on the marketplace. Thank you.
Fantastic. Anything you'd like to say as we go
we're moving forward. We've got a lot of exciting programs that we're going to roll out in 2013. Many more than we have time to talk about today, but
Sure.
I'm sure we'll have
Absolutely.
another session at some point.
Jennifer?
Thank you, Anthony. It's good to co-host again
Always.
the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authorities, or EDA's Focus on the Marketplace, and this was very informative, and I want to thank Maggie and Andrew. As
Thank
I
you.
said,
Thanks for
it's a
stopping by.
team effort, man,
Absolutely.
and we want to get the word out there that, as Maggie said, it is about all of us. And again, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish the Virgin Islands community the best of the holiday season, compliments to the season, as we say.
That's right.
And I want to make a special appeal to all of our folks who must recognize that the efforts that we're doing with this program to educate this community and to tell the community about the opportunities of the Virgin Islands is dependent on all of us. I want us to stop the killing. I want us to stop the crime. Our reputation in the global market is one that is causing a great deal of challenge. So I'm making an appeal as we enjoy this holiday season. Let us do it crime-free. Let us recognize this is a good place to live, it's a good place to work, and we want the world to know it. But my friends, my people, my children, my people, them, get the word. Please stop the crime. It is killing this community because the internet is a split second, now millimeters a second, and the world knows about the Virgin Islands. And I want them to know about the Virgin Islands as a good place to live, work, and do business. Happy holidays.
Speaking of the internet, if you don't have cable and you can't see it on, you can't see the Channel 6 or Channel 10 on regular TV, you can go to www.insidethemarketplace.com to be able to watch the program that is televised on the Access channel. Again, that's www.insidethemarketplace.com. And I would like to say happy holidays to you as well. And of course, this time of the year is our festival, our carnival, and the Cruising Christmas Festival. Happy 60th anniversary, and enjoy the festival. Take care.